You know that little sting you feel when you see your follower count drop? Or when somebody just leaves you on red? It feels genuinely bad. But why? Why does something so small, so digital, hurt so much? Today we're going to dig into the fascinating science behind social pain. It's so easy to just brush this off, right? To tell yourself you're being too sensitive or that it's just online drama. But what if that feeling is actually a very real, very ancient biological response? Let's find out why getting ghosted can feel, to your brain, a lot like a physical injury.
So first things first, that feeling is not just in your head. You're not making it up and you're not overreacting. It's actually a deeply wired evolutionary mechanism, one that used to be absolutely critical for our survival.
Here's the best way to think about it. Your brain is basically running on ancient software. I mean, this operating system was designed for survival out on the savannah. But now it's trying to process social media notifications and DMs. The hardware is ancient, but the world it's living in is brand new.
Okay, so let's jump in our mental time machine for a second. To really get why an unfollow stings today, we have to go way, way back and understand the life-or-death pressures our ancestors were dealing with.
So look at this. On the left, you've got these, legit prehistoric life-or-death situations. And on the right, modern digital stuff. It seems almost ridiculous to compare them, but here's the kicker. Your brain's alarm system evolved for the threats on the left, and it hasn't really updated to tell the difference from the ones on the right.
See, for our ancestors, being part of a group was completely non-negotiable. You needed your tribe to find food, to defend against saber-toothed cats, to share resources when things got tough, and even to help raise the kids. Belonging wasn't just a nice feeling, it was literally everything.
So if the group decided to shun you, that was it. You were left alone to face predators and starvation. Your odds of survival just plummeted. It's no wonder our brains evolved to treat being cast out as one of the most extreme threats imaginable.
Okay, so how does this ancient alarm system actually work inside the brain? This is where things get really, really interesting.
Psychologists have a term for this, social pain. And listen, that is not a metaphor. The definition itself talks about damage to your social connection, which your brain reads as a serious threat to your place in the tribe.
Neuroscientists have figured out that pain actually has two different parts. There's the sensory component. That's the part that tells you where it hurts and how bad it is. But then there's the affective component. That's the emotional distress, the part that makes you say, "Ow, I hate this." And that part, it's shared by both physical and social pain.
So when you stub your toe, two specific spots in your brain light up like a Christmas tree to process that "I hate this" feeling. They're called the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, or DACC for short, and the anterior insula. This is your brain's official pain alarm.
And here it is. This is the big discovery. Researchers put people in fMRI scanners and had them play a simple online ball tossing game. But then they had the other players suddenly stop throwing the ball to the person. And guess what lit up in their brain? The exact same regions, the DAC and the anterior insula. Your brain literally uses the same circuitry to process the distress of being left out as it does for physical pain.
And this isn't just some weird quirk scientists found in a lab. It's a universal human thing. Think about it. All over the world, people use words for physical injury to talk about social rejection. We say our feelings are hurt. We talk about broken hearts. There's a very, very real reason for that.
This might be the wildest piece of evidence of all. Get this. Studies have shown that a common over-the-counter painkiller, acetaminophen, Tylenol, doesn't just help a headache. It also actually reduces the sting of hurt feelings and literally quiets down the activity in those brain regions when you feel rejected. Mind-blowing, right?
So we've got this incredibly deep evolutionary link. We've got the neuroscience to back it up. Now let's tie all that ancient wiring back to the world we actually live in, a world of likes, comments, and yes, unfollows. Your brain is constantly translating these ancient signals into modern digital contexts. It doesn't see a negative comment notification. It hears a warning cry from the tribe. It doesn't register an unfollow as just a click of a button. It interprets it as being shunned from the campfire, a direct threat to your place in the group. That little ping from your phone can trigger a massive ancient survival alarm.
But, and this is a big but, there's a really important difference in how we remember social pain versus physical pain. And it explains exactly why that one nasty comment can stick with you for days or even weeks. Seriously, think about it. If you've ever broken a bone, you can remember that it happened, you can remember it was awful, but you can't truly re-feel that intense, searing physical pain.
But the ache of a really bad breakup, the sting of a harsh criticism, oh yeah, you can call that feeling right back up, sometimes with painful clarity years later. What's up with that?
Well, the answer lies in the brain's wiring. When you relive social pain, you engage the part of your brain that reactivates that emotional distress system we've been talking about, the DACC and the anterior insula. But remembering physical pain, that uses a different pathway, one that's tied to sensory memory, and it just doesn't trigger the same emotional alarm.
And this is the absolute key. Every single time you find yourself thinking about being ghosted or rereading that mean comment, you are literally reactivating your brain's emotional pain circuits. You're not just remembering that it hurt. In a very real neurological sense, you are feeling that hurt all over again.
So, what do we do with all this? Look, understanding the science doesn't magically make the pain go away. Our ancient software isn't getting a patch anytime soon. But knowing why it hurts, that gives you power. It lets you step back and recognize that ancient alarm for what it is. It's not about ignoring the pain, but understanding its source so you can consciously decide how you want to respond to this very, very modern world. Thanks for tuning in.